First of all, it was just like gnawing at me in the head to be like, let's do the podcast.
And here
Kind of
we
get
are.
somebody we could chop it up. I could chop it up with. And what more than I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, man. Vendhy, aka Vendhy 787. Name is actually Reynaldo Arroyo.
Arroyo.
Directamente de Puerto Rico.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, first of all. And yeah, my boy Matthew Gobb in the building.
Yeah. Excited. Super excited, man. Yeah, and like what I was saying, it was just at me. I was thinking about it every day. I was like, okay, I've been thinking about doing a podcast. I've been watching them, and like I'm with the vibe. Like I love it, just to listen to people, and especially being dancers, both of us. We're used to doing moves, doing tricks, choreography,
Facts.
that is, freestyle, just getting down, and letting that tell her story, tell her visual, and then now we just kind of get to open up a
Facts,
little bit
man.
more, man.
Facts, man.
So-
First of all, I want to start off by asking you about your experience, bro, because I know that with all the pandemic happening, and I know that you are a respiratory therapist.
Respiratory therapist,
That is the code. Yeah, man.
RRT, man.
That's dope. That's dope. Thank you for everything you do for the community, bro.
Yeah, man.
Especially with being in the front line every day. That's got to be tough.
Yeah.
So appreciate you for doing that first of all, and keeping me and my wife in that check sane place, because you were always one of those people that was like keeping. I would always ask you about it, and you were always pretty detailed, but also very like relaxing to talk to about, because I feel like you knew about it. Makes sense? And
Yeah.
it was actually something that was coming from somebody that I trusted rather than seeing it in the media.
Right.
You know what I mean? But yeah, tell us a little bit about that, bro. Like, how was your
man.
experience, and how is your experience? Because
Man,
you're
oh,
still
man.
on it right now. you
Yep,
know?
still at it. Man, it's such a big topic, and it's crazy to see even when experience started in January, that wasn't even a topic at all. We were
Crazy.
just going in with the convention. Shout outs to everyone that was there in January. I mean, it was amazing. So going into March, I think is when they kind of put in the order to do lockdown, quarantine, and everything like that. Then it became a pointed topic. Then you started seeing it in the hospitals a lot. And if you were to ask me 3 to 4 years ago when I first got into respiratory school, I mean, nobody knew that we were
Right.
going to school to treat patients in a global pandemic at this
Right.
high
Wow,
velocity
yeah.
too, because it's a lot. Like, and it came through waves. And the scariest thing about it is that, we still know so little about it, and we only were able to discover, can be more or less, but around maybe November or December of last year, started to become a pointed topic.
Okay.
And they would see it in the news in China and everything, but
Yeah,
but
man.
they didn't think it was going to affect us. They weren't scared yet, so we were still kind of going through it. And then we had experience in January.
Right. Damn, that's
and
crazy.
then
I didn't
it's-
even recall that experience was January, then February, like last of February. You know what I mean? Was kind of like around the time that they started like kind of shutting down. Would you say?
Well, you remember this too, because you and your wife were working at this carnival. Carnival was
Carnival.
happening. So Carnival was literally the last thing. Choreographers Carnival. They held it here, if I'm not mistaken. I think for
Right.
the first time, or not in a while, a long while.
First time, yeah.
So they held it here. Then that's when they locked down. That's like literally 2 to 3 days. They announced the NBA was going to stop playing, and then it just started going down from there.
So did you know that it was the lockdown was coming? Do you know what I mean? Being
Yeah.
being a hospital
No,
worker.
I didn't at all. Like, I mean, you can kind of scope out like kind of what the other side of the world, other countries are doing. So we started. I don't know. It just feels so long ago, man. Like it feels like, experience was in January, but it feels like so long ago. And then like when we first started quarantine, because I just remember all the emotions that I was going through, And I bet you a lot of people can recall because we've had more time to ourselves to kind of think, to kind of just be alone or be with the people that you live with and stuff like that. So, yeah, people go through the motions emotionally, and I would say physically more so to my frontline workers where we work at. Now, like kind of diving into that, like it got so intense, especially in the beginning because we don't really know how to treat it yet, right? We have very broad antiviral medications that you can test out, but it's kind of, we're testing it out on people, seeing the process of what it does and kind of like taking note for it. Like, okay, that's what that does.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. Are the
Next.
people aware of that type of situation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
have to write a consent.
they
right,
let
and
you
all that type
know.
of stuff.
They let you know definitely what they're putting into your IV.
Okay.
They let the nurses know. And to put it out there, respiratory is more focused on cardiopulmonary. So if you don't know what that means, the heart, cardio, and pulmonary, the lungs. So because they're so close together in the body, we focus on that. So it can range from EKGs, a 12-lead EKG, which is gets the rhythm of your heart. So we have to deal with that. Now with those antiviral medications, they change the waves in that and what it looks like. I'm just trying to remember. Mind me, I haven't been in school, so I haven't been like
Thinking
about the
explaining it
little
to a
details.
baby,
Yeah,
you
as
know what I
much.
mean?
But I believe, if I'm not wrong, it's the QRX complex wave still it elongates. It's either that or the ST. One of those. So anyways, it just shows something different on the EKG results. So respiratory usually, unless you're in the emergency room, are there looking at your heart rate, trying to see what that does.
Right.
So again, that's just kind of falling into it being so new. And COVID-19, as you know it, it's affected the whole world, and it takes a lot. As a frontline worker, you work 3 days in a week.
So I want to know personally, because of course, you mentioned we're both dancers, and I know quarantine, if I didn't have like a way to at least express something, you know what I mean? Like I would have just kind of like, I would have went crazy, bro. And it was
Yes.
hard to not
Agreed.
dance because, of course, that I live in a second, floor and all this other crazy stuff. But at the same time, I had to at least do something to express. You know what I mean? Like, how did you
Right.
balance that? Being in the actual front line, and then at the same time, like wanting to dance and wanting to release. What was your escape? You know what I'm saying?
So
Was it dance?
yeah, a lot of it was dance. A lot of it was home workouts, exercise, just kind of get my body moving. And just focusing on little
Did
things.
you become one of those people like posting every day about the workouts and stuff?
At one point, I did because there was a time that I was just trying to
Let's go,
impress some
Maggie.
ladies. So I was just progress pic. And
Hey, let's go. Ladies, he's single. Nah, that's good, bro. That's good. I mean, I feel like everybody had to get on that point because it was just too much. You know what I mean? I think personally, TikTok saved a lot of lives too.
I
As
also
much as-
joined. I made an account.
I
So
mean, personally, I think as much as people want to make fun of it and all this other stuff about it being banned and all that
that's
stuff,
something new.
it made another outing,
Yeah.
another outlet.
Yep.
And I feel like personally, for me, my wife was very much into that situation of TikTok because she's not much of a freestyler like I am. You know what I mean? More like I was more into the training mode.
Right.
She was more into like, what do I do? I really have no job. I really have I can't freestyle like he can. So let me just,
Right.
what do I do? So TikTok came in and she got something to do. You know what I mean? So personally, I think it really did help with the quarantine situation. You know what I mean?
Yep.
A lot of people may not think so, but I just want to throw that out there. I think it really actually did
Yeah,
do
and
something positive.
And if I'm not mistaken, it actually became the biggest platform for artists all around at some point,
Facts.
or maybe even at this point right now. It's still the biggest platform for artists
still not
all
banned,
around.
yeah.
Yeah, I checked it today and it's still up. It's still running. I saw a bunch of TikTok challenges and funny stuff going on. So, I mean, hey, it's still around. It's still around.
I can't do it right though. I don't know how to
This
do
vocabulary.
TikTok right, but it's fun. It's fun. I really follow me on TikTok, Vendhy787. Nah,
You know
but-
what? I'm still kind of mad about it because when I first made a TikTok, it wouldn't just put Matthew Gobb just like it is on my Instagram. It put Matthew Gobb 7 automatically, and then I looked it up. Somebody has my name already. I don't know who it is. I never made a TikTok account before then. And like the creepy thing is they follow people from my childhood, like back in Chicago. For those of you who don't know,
weird.
I'm from Chicago, born and raised. So that account right there, it's following a bunch of people that I know from Chicago to, you know, like a football coach.
Going back, now that you just said that you were from Chicago, and putting that together, leading off of that, how was the pandemic in Chicago while you were dealing with it out here? Like, were you like paying attention to anything over there, or were you just so busy over here?
You know, honestly, I really was busy over here to think too much about it, but I do have 2 cousins that work out. I think one in like a long-term facility, and then an acute care hospital was the other one. So that's usually what you see if you go to the hospital. That's
Okay, yeah.
yeah.
What is it? Concentra or something like that? No, Concentra's here, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Acute care is more like UMC, Sunrise
Right.
Hospital, Spring Valley. But yeah, so
That's
over there, they're having the same thing. You know, a good amount of cases, but I think they actually had a smaller amount, if I'm not mistaken, than Nevada. At least, I don't know. I'm not too sure about that, but I know I also have 2 cousins in the field in the front line. Yeah, so they're out there
over there in
fighting it too.
Illinois? In
In
Chicago?
Chicago, yep.
Damn.
That's right.
So y'all come from a family of like,
Yeah,
battle made for this.
really,
That's dope.
nurturing,
Respect.
hardworking. You know what I mean? It's really rooted in
Did your mom
Filipinos.
also study in the medical field?
Yeah, so she started off as a NICU nurse. So she worked with all the babies, neonatal intensive care unit.
That's how
Awesome.
you so well taken care
Yeah.
of, boy.
Yeah, that's right.
That's dope.
Shout out
bro.
to moms.
Respect. Yeah, man.
Shout out to
That's
moms.
Respect.
But yeah, so she's not currently in the field. She's also a professor at a university, a nursing school. So she did that online. So she was not in the field at all. She got to stay home, maybe go to the grocery store during the quarantine time.
Gotcha.
But that was that.
That's cool, man. So I want to get into this because we kind of touched briefly about it, but now I want to really get into this. Jablam! Like,
Bam.
let's talk about experience, bro.
Let's go.
Like, for real, for real. First convention in Vegas. I mean, I want to say first convention in Vegas, choreography from Vegas to Vegas.
Yeah, it was
local.
It was really
convention.
made from the bottom up in Vegas. Always Vegas, 100% Las Vegas,
Everything Vegas supported, baby.
Yeah. So I come from, community dance teams in the Las Vegas scene here. So I started off on Mekami. I was on Mekami for 4 years. They were established in 2003, so they've been around. And that's where I learned really my basis of choreography and just how to switch from just being a dancer and a student learning choreography opposed to creating next to a director that has a vision. And, you apply it in that way. Of course, you have to have movement, effects, and everything,
Right.
what comes with a competitive set, And so I was with them for 4 years. And then I branched out about a year on my own. I started training with people that, I wanted to train more with. Joaquin Howard, Devic Bull, Trey Leggins. Like I started to connect more with them. and started to take class with them. We would like learn each other's choreography. We would create together. And so that's where I started doing that. And then I got onto Genesis Dance Collective.
I see. So
And that's,
Genesis.
yeah. And then coming from there, that's when I became more of like, assistant director, more on the creative side, then doing like choreography. It was like, a lot of the sets had my choreography, had my vision, had my blocking, everything. So I come from that, respected area, dance community, competition and everything. So, and then I was just kind of collecting everything that I had, and then, going into more commercial jobs, industry jobs, more shows, more live television and stuff like that. That's when I started to see, that crowd, and also how they're kind of, there's kind of a division as well. So I think to myself, like looking at this logo right now, how it's a Venn diagram, how you have the two circles, you have kind of what I was just explaining, but more on a broader spectrum. The big thing of me is always going into like more disciplines, freestyle, popping, waving, crumping, locking, b-boy. I started off as a b-boy in Chicago. So much respect, to all of that. And that's what I wanted to bring, more than just choreography. But of course, I come from choreography. So, we include that as well. And then we have the Venn diagram. In the middle is the similarities of what we all have, what we think and what we don't think we have. But dancers, we speak the same language. I know you see something and you get hype when you see something dope, when you see somebody just like living and doing like their thing and they're so passionate about it. You can just see them like rocking it and really like going with it. And that's dope. Experiencing that, just seeing somebody like go off in their passion. It's like, wow, that guy's like really in it, but that's amazing. You know what I mean? Because like likewise to the person watching it, you want to be amazing. You know what I mean? Like we're dancers. We want to get good at our craft. So again, going to this, you have the opposing sides, but in that middle right there is our similarities, and we would all be able to experience that together.
That's dope.
And so that's where it came from, man. And that's the inspiration to it.
I didn't know that was the meaning
Yeah.
behind the logo, bro. Kudos to that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. You didn't tell me that.
I
That's
thought about it. I forgot how long it took me to think about that, but I was really sitting on it, and I wanted to make it meaningful. I wanted to make it more than just a structure. I wanted it to be, translatable. Like be able to have a conversation about it on a podcast, but at the same time, like it looks dope.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
sir. Yes, sir. It looks fresh, man. I think it looks classy too.
Yeah,
That's the main thing for me. Like, I like classy stuff.
That purple.
I think that purple makes it look
game.
classy.
Yep.
That PIP. Anyways, but yeah, man, that's dope that you were able to pull that off. All from your perspective, your own pocket. You know what I mean? It's like crazy that you were able to do that, bro. You know what I mean?
Facts. Yeah, that's
a lot of people like get sponsors, and they have to be able to manage that with like sharing the space with other, sponsorships if they want to get like another like food here or whatever it is that their sponsor is. That's also a lot of times, you know what I mean?
It was all like, it was funded. A lot of people don't know that yet. They still think, I got a lot of sponsorships and, a bunch of people to help, which I had a lot of people to help. Like I had a good amount of people. I had a good crew.
Speaking of help, shout out to Blitz Boba. That was like
man.
bomb boba that I had.
Yeah, shout out to Randall and Trisha Bernadette. They actually closed their company with Blitz Boba. I just saw that online somewhere, and I just thought it was dope that he felt like he was ready to let it go. Because as much as experience is my baby, that's his baby too, and shout out to them for being there, man. They made that come to life.
That's crazy dope.
They made it come to life.
Shout out to them. They were definitely a big part of it.
Yes.
Because I remember like even having the support makes sense. Like imagine taking Blitz Boba out of that, it would have felt like okay, just experience. You know what I mean? And it's still cool, but like having like that little cart out there and having something to do besides just like being out there and like seeing the
Facts.
dances and okay, just have a little boba and come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just chill. It was good to like feel that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
man. Everybody in that production team was amazing.
So,
Everybody that was in that.
quick question, my bro. Who is, who was your favorite? I mean, I don't want you to pick, but I have to make you kind of in a
Dun,
way.
dun, dun.
I have to ask you, maybe
Here we
not your
go.
favorite, but like definitely like, let's say your top three out of the.
Is it because I'm the host?
Yeah, bro. I mean, you
No.
know what I mean. Like, I mean, it was a dope experience. No pun intended. You know what I mean. I was
That's
there to view the whole thing from top to bottom. You know, I was proud to be able to help and stuff like that. And like the choreography level that I saw from the teachers was high. You know what I mean. So for me, not knowing a lot of the names because I know that you're very much more like acquainted with the names and the experience that they had. I feel like you definitely had to have like not a favorite, but mostly like what maybe let me just ask you what did each of them bring that you wanted to bring to experience and what's
Yeah.
going to make the next experience different.
Yeah.
Make sense?
So, I actually really liked. Oh man, for there's so many reasons.
Like I
and,
said,
like, so
not
many-
favorite, just I'm talking about like what did each bring in
Oh
your eyes,
right.
you know
Oh
what I
okay,
mean?
okay, okay. Yes, yes, yes.
Because it's not really for me. Like
I
you
like
could
that
have had a
question.
favorite, but it's not really about that. Like your favorite
Right.
could have been that one, and my favorite could have been the first one.
And
It's
for
not really about the
X
favorite.
amount
It's
reason,
just
yeah.
It's just simply like the experience was about learning.
Yeah.
And I feel like each one of them brought something so different from listening to them talk.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? I want to
Yes.
know more about your perspective of them. What did they bring to the table?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So, starting with Daniel's morning class, I thought because there was so much like going on for me that day, like my mind was just racing. Like I couldn't even like stand and take a class because then I would be called over to like do something and like
Hear you.
go and do this and check this. So I was like, okay. So I'm just gonna focus on that. So I was able to also kind of like yourself, like listen and kind of just like
Did you take any of
bask in
them?
it. I took Dario's class
Gotcha.
because I taught right before him. Super sweaty, super exhausted.
That's
The videos
you,
are on
bro. You
YouTube
work,
if you
you
want to
be
see
putting
them.
in work, Joe.
The videos are on YouTube. But anyways, so with Daniel's class, I found that like really refreshing mentally because the way he taught, he is so experienced. Like he has been in the choreo game for a long, long time. Ever since his garage freestyles, like people remember this guy as like a b-boy first, art of movement, and up in Seattle, and he's doing these b-boy moves, but then he's mixing it in with choreo and just like effortlessly, you know what I mean? So it started merging into his choreography to where like now you watch him how he gets into moves. It's just so effortlessly. So I feel like I learned so much by watching the way he did his solo. I still watch that video on YouTube.
Yeah.
And he's just on the stage. We have the lights on there. It's like
It was a
full-on
moment.
production.
Yeah, it was a moment.
Yeah.
I was just talking to my friend in Explosion about that. Like, there's types of moments like that one that you can't repeat. You know what I mean? Like that moment. It's on footage, but the people that were there only got to experience. Like some people are lucky enough that they get to see it, but the people that were there have that match of being there and looking at the footage and being like, yo, I remember that feeling. That was an amazing moment. I feel like a lot of people don't really remember that that's a big thing when it comes to conventions like this one. It's looking for those moments that creates a memory in your career. You know what I mean? As a dancer, it's like
Facts.
you don't even know who you might have touched in this. You know what I mean? And that's going to be like the next not Chris Brown, maybe Chris Brown is not even there at that time, but like the next big star choreographer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't know if he was there and he was one of those people that was like in the back. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So those moments right there are the things that I think people pay for. It's not really just the choreography.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
You come to experience it. It just goes with everything. And
He said,
going into more, I'm trying to remember the lineup, like in order. which I don't. Oh, Joaquin, actually. Joaquin Howard. Joaquin Howard is a Las Vegas local, well respected, in the game. Like I said, he was a mentor of mine.
That was the one choreo that I took. It was fresh.
Oh, you did? Oh, you did?
Because I know I could do it, man.
Yeah.
Joaquin's always like I've
Yeah,
always
see, you've
admired
worked with
that
him
guy,
too.
Yeah.
You've
I've
worked
with
with him,
plenty of times. I didn't get to be on stage in Cirque with him, but I actually got to like be in rehearsal space with him and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and like got
Projects
to
and
know that
stuff.
vibe. And then we did a couple videos, and I think I did a Tuesday Blend with him or something like that.
Tuesday Blend.
Yeah, so I definitely know that Joaquin was one of the biggest asset on that convention, bro. 'Cause
Yeah.
he is a genius when it comes to actually like creativity as far as choreography.
Yes.
Definitely.
So being in, like, soaking in his session, he was really teaching you how, like, from what I was seeing, just very, there's a lot of stage presence, and he really wanted people to perform. Like, from my experience, when I take from this guy, like, I'm already intimidated by the choreography. Like, I'm like, okay, before, like, 5 years ago or even 6 years ago now, I first met him when I was in Mechami, and I think he taught us privately. And I felt like I didn't know my left from my right. I had 2 left feet. I had maybe 2 right hands. I was like, what? So I was frustrated, and I see that now, like, being a teacher at Millennium and Culture Shock and being able to teach other students, like, across, the country and stuff, and even in the Philippines, like, how like, it's so important for the teacher to know the energy of their class and or of their audience of who they're teaching, to especially a class, like, where you have to keep the energy up. And, like, if you see people tanking mentally and, now they're showing body signs, like putting their hands on their hips and rolling their eyes, yawning, maybe, like, not looking at the mirror and just kind of, like, pacing back and forth. You see this. Yeah, you're a teacher yourself.
My mentor used to make us do push-ups every
Exactly.
time we yawned. Like,
Yeah.
you yawning, bro? I'm boring you? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me get 10 push-ups real quick. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me
Yeah,
see
you
you
know what I'm
yawn
saying?
after that.
You know what
Get
I'm
your
saying?
energy up,
Exactly. And so,
Little
like, you see
discipline.
that. It's just so important for the teacher to know, like, that energy when it's tanking. And obviously when the crowd is having fun, when the students are getting it, and now you can kind of push them a little bit more. But if they're struggling and then you keep throwing 8 counts and 8 counts and, okay, you guys are just going to get it at the end, like, eventually, no, like, oh man, you know what I mean? Like, it can come to that to an extent, but in a lot of situations, like, the teacher takes the helm. You are in the, you're in the driver's seat, You know what I mean? And so I noticed that when I first started choreographing. When I first started choreographing, I was like, man, I'm just going to put all this choreo together. It's going to be, like, difficult musicality all the time, and that's going to be dope, though, because I can show people, like, all this stuff. But,
Did you learn that? So, Joaquin, as far as your level of choreography and his level, because I know that you tend to go very, how do I say? I don't want to say fast, but it's just fast paced.
yeah.
Like the music that you listen to, or not the music that you listen to, because you just listen to a slow song and
Yeah.
still hit the fastest
Right.
beat count. And I'm like, wait, how did that just happen? Just because you're listening to the snare in the background that nobody hears. And I'm just like, wait, oh, I see what you're listening to and the way you put it together. Joaquin has a way of doing that, but in a smoother way. It's like the way he hits it is like I just kind of feel like I'm saying smooth. How would you compare yours to his, like, difficulty wise?
Oh man. We both have our own difficult, like, what we call textures, what we call, like, little details, pocket. These are all just, like, choreo vocab terms, which is pretty cool. We get to bring it to the
table, man, yeah.
to the table. Literally, we get to bring it to the table and they get to listen. But I mean, we have different dynamics, really. Like you said, with my style, it goes quick, but then I go into, like, something slow, like right into it after, or, like, you see this, we're going slow, we're walking, we're breathing, and then all of a sudden, boom, 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 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4, and then milk it out. And it's like, what just happened? But I feel like that came from my b-boying background. I feel like that came from my b-boying background, where it comes with the intensity, like, coming from like top rocks, down rocks, like it comes with some sort of like intensity. And then I was able to kind of switch it up to how I wanted to in my choreo style. And with Joaquin, like I said, I've worked with him for numerous years now. And he's very, it's specific. Like I got to watch him for all these details. Like I have to look in the mirror, and when they tell you, to stop and really watch, opposed to like marking it while they're teaching you the choreography, when they tell you, instruct you to watch specifically, that's a thing. That's a thing. And he's a perfect example of, I have to do that. Like I look at it and I'm like,
especially
no,
with him, because he's not the show off kind of teacher.
Yeah.
Because
Exactly.
I know he's so humble about like his own like work and stuff like that. He's always like, nah, and he's so modest.
Right.
That he's not the show off type of teacher that I don't think he would be like, stop, don't nobody do it, just look at me right now. You know what I mean? So paying attention for him.
So
like,
yes,
with him,
pay attention to every detail.
So you said Dario, you said Joaquin.
Daniel, Joaquin, and then I went into Maciel. Maciel was the next one. She's a killer here too, man. She teaches at Millennium. She was on board with experience almost right away. I remember, I think I was teaching a class. I was teaching my weekly slot, and then I was able to catch her at the studio, and I was like, hey, this sounds crazy, but I'm doing this convention. I want to bring you in on it. You're an amazing teacher.
Right.
She has, a great following at Millennium, at Millennium Las Vegas, and again, she's an amazing teacher. So I said, this is what I want to do, and I want to bring people from Vegas too. I got myself in it, but I want to add like 2 very good teachers, that value education in their students more than showing off, and then really just giving it that session.
There you go.
Yeah, and that's what I really thought. So I had to really
had
to really curate my list and really find out.
And then of course you had them little extra ones, which were like not extra, but like I'm saying, like the other ones that were more like, I guess, I don't want to say bigger names, because it's not like they were bigger.
The other teachers in the lineup.
The other teachers, yeah. But it's more like a bigger commercial, if you would say, because you're in Vegas doing it from Vegas, makes sense. So it's like bringing a player from out of town. You know what I mean? If you're a NBA player or something like that, you bring a team from out of town. That's kind of like, oh, that's the dopest thing because it's from out of town. I know from my end in Puerto Rico, anything that's from the United States, they support it like 110%. And it's like, wait, why don't you support the local though? Like, why don't you support your own?
Right.
I don't understand that, but
it
is how it is. And that's, I feel personally, and I'm going to say it because you know me, man. I feel personally that people should have been in Maciel's class. Man.
Yep.
I'm going to say that off the bat. And
absolutely.
I don't care who disagrees, that girl deserves way more respect than what she gets.
Absolutely.
I don't care who thinks otherwise. Whoever does can talk to me on the sidelines, you know what I mean? Because honestly, I personally feel her teaching skills are elevating a lot of dancers out here, just like yours, just like Joaquin's, you know what I mean? And a lot of people in the industry, I think, need to stop looking for that limelight, because they're just looking for, like, we've talked about this so many times, they're just looking for, like, oh, I want to be in this video. I want to be in this class video. Let me just work really hard and save my energy for this class because I want to be in this clip. I want to be in this video. It's like, bro, it's not just about that. What did you actually learn?
Yep.
Did you take just a combo, or did you take like actually a lesson? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so different from like learning a combo to like actually learning something in the classroom, that I feel like it should be more addressed in the Vegas industry, because it's not.
I touched up on it actually, I think about a month ago. Just kind of talking about when going into a class, do you have your set goals? Do you have something in the back of your mind that you're trying to work on? Maybe you're trying to fix, maybe be more aware of in your body, maybe just overall body consciousness.
Right.
What about, it kind of goes along with like presence, and
Would you say
all that
presence
stuff.
as in like presence in the classroom,
Presence
or
in
like
the
presence,
classroom.
stage presence, because
Okay, good. Yeah.
mm,
Presence in the classroom. Presence in the classroom, I feel like, should always come with you when you walk into the studio, like being present in there, kind of like soaking in the experience and getting that, opposed to worrying about the video.
facts, facts,
That's a long
facts.
topic too, but and then going into that, but also just depending on what the teacher wants. If they want a stage presence, if they want you to be in that certain way, whichever, then that's what I'm going to do.
Right.
If the teacher wants me to do something specific, I'm learning from the teacher. Yeah, my little niches are going to come out. My training is going to come out, but that's the
Right.
beauty of it.
Right.
But the thing is seeing that student break down that wall and commit. Still try to commit. You could be it's okay. You can be a beginner at something. You know what I mean? I have things that I can work on. Everybody has something that they can work on in the classroom, no matter what.
Yeah.
So it's okay to be in front of other students alike, or even people that know you, like over social media, and they look at you and they expect this figure of you, or they expect a certain way of you because they have what they think they have on social media. So they expect you to be a type of way, and if you're not, it kind of shocks them, and they're like, oh, damn, I thought he was like, or I thought she was like this, and this is, but they're not. You know what I mean? I've heard so many examples of that. And so, like, going into that classroom, again, going back to it, you should always have a goal of what you're trying to do, and then really committing to the teacher, really committing to their teaching, and just kind of letting your walls down. And okay, maybe I'm going to be uncomfortable. Maybe I'm not going to know this move because it's not in my vocabulary. So
Right,
I'm going to
right.
struggle.
But
But
still
that's
pull it
it.
off,
That's
still
the
go through.
classroom. Whether they have a professional videographer, lights, a fan, smoke, I've seen it all. If they have all of that, yeah, okay, like it depends. Again, you're stepping in that teacher's class, so that it's how they want to conduct it.
Right.
But always remember that it's for what you can take in that hour, hour and a half, hour 15, maybe 2 hour workshop. It's what you can take in and learn and be able to apply it, throughout your body.
Yeah, I feel like that implies in the student itself. A lot of students don't really know how to follow. Just straight up, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? You can take a choreography, but you don't really know how to be a follower, and that's kind of like what sucks about reality, is that you can't really, like, people are so sensitive nowadays that you can't really just tell them how it is, because they'll get offended and yada yada yada. But it's just hard to, like, I feel like I'm very, hey,
Yeah.
you need this if you want to get here. You know
I
what
think
I
that
mean?
goes into like tough love kind of thing, and because you just want them to do good. Like,
Because, like, for example, and the way I mean it is, like, if you want to get to a place like Cirque, right? And I'm not saying this to brag, but
yeah,
you don't want to train, though. You want to get to these places, but you don't want to train. And I'm telling you, and I'm giving you the knowledge in class, but you don't want to take it. You want to do it your own way, because that's your style.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I see.
And then they go to workshops like yours and Maciel's and these and this. They can't do them because they're accustomed to doing one thing at one certain way. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's why
I
you
see.
don't make it to the next step, because you're so accustomed to just doing the comfortable.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Interesting. I didn't even know this. I didn't even
I've
know
always
this.
thought about this in the
Yeah.
industry, because that's why a lot of freestylers don't make it,
Yeah.
because they're so accustomed to doing what they want to do. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's okay. That's not bad. But can you do what you're told by a way of respect also for their craft? Do you know what I'm saying? And that
Yeah.
comes into, like, the experience of what have you done and what do you want to do? You know what I mean? Like, what's your goal?
Yeah.
If your end goal is to just go into class and just take class, then cool, fine.
Yeah.
Do you. But if you're really trying to push yourself to get to that next level and to actually book, which is what a lot of
You
people
said
are,
that to the next level.
a lot of people talk about, no, I dance because I want to have fun.
And
it's
that's okay,
like,
too.
That's cool, bro. That's cool. Then don't cry when they don't pick you for the classroom, for the video. Don't get butthurt. All right.
Uh-huh.
Don't cry when you don't get the call back when you went to the audition and you thought you killed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Because you just
There you
wanted
go.
to have fun.
There you go.
Am I right or am I wrong?
Right.
And
No, I
I'm just
definitely-
like not saying this for anything in specific or anybody, but I just see it.
No,
a
yeah,
lot,
and you
know
see
what I
it.
mean?
You see it a lot, you know. And
Something
so-
that again needs to be addressed.
Right. So going back into that teacher list and how I find it interesting because this next teacher, Alex Simone, the way you're saying that you were conducting your classes and how you're like, you push them to do it, you know, do it. You know what I mean? With the tough love and because you just want to see them better.
Right.
You know, in the end, you
Right.
want to see them improve. You want to see them have fun, importantly, and, be in their bag. Be in the bag.
Be
But
in
so,
that pocket.
yeah, so with Alex, I found, the way he conducted his class, he was spitting all this like knowledge, and he was just going at it, and I felt like I learned so much by listening to him. And he said, he said that
Ditto.
he wishes, and I took this into play too, and I thought about it and I started constructing it, in my teaching. But he said, I'm tough on people because I wish that I had somebody that was tough on me.
Whoa.
And he said, so that's why I am that person that's going to be tough on you and tell you straight up, I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm not going to keep, going around and about with it. I'm going to be straight up with you because this is the facts. He has his experience. He's done it,
Yeah.
So that's what really stuck with me. And I was like, that one thing right there stuck with me that whole class. He taught, to this R&B track. I forget what it is, but Rain by K. Michelle. I probably butchered that. But again, it's on YouTube, so you can see all the videos on YouTube. You can see the recap. It was an amazing day. So that's what really stuck with me with Alex. And then it was my class. So I'm gonna use this moment more so to be like, not say what I like really necessarily loved or liked about my class because it's different from my perspective.
teacher's perspective, right.
But I'm gonna say an observation that a lot of
to
people
take
were telling me, and I laugh because it's a laughable moment. It really is. And if you know me, you know me. Like it comes with sweating profusely and I don't know, just
Always.
again, there's so much things running in my head where I was just like, okay, now I got to be a teacher for an hour and a half. Okay, you know what I mean? And I got to be like, not necessarily camera ready, but like I got to do my choreo in front of a camera on the stage in front of people. I'm like, okay, now I got to like come back to earth. But
Hopefully, that shows that you're committed, bro.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
facts. So with me, I took a 5-hour energy in the back. Because I was so tired. We were working last night, and we were setting up the stage. We were setting up the venue, which took hours upon, it took hours, We were setting up staging, lights, microphone, everything, right? So we were getting all that set up, and we went out to Korean barbecue after. And then we went home.
dinner.
I slept for maybe 2 hours, woke up at 6 o'clock, got over there. So, okay, long story short, I was tired. So I took a 5-hour energy in the back. I think Daniel Jerome was in the back with me. And I was just telling him, I don't know, a lot
I like
of them
how
were
you're saying that like you were taking a shot or something like that.
Yeah,
Like it was
yeah,
something
yeah,
so
like,
bad.
something
Like it was
so
a fire
bad.
energy. You needed
But
it.
I needed it, but it amplified me, I think, because on top of I was being tired. So I had to like, I had to pull my teacher voice out, my presence, my projecting out there, because we had microphones too, but I'm the type of person that likes to like sway around, move and stuff. So I would have to project my voice outwards. But I guess I was like really hyped. I was singing the song like while the song was going. I was doing the choreo and like moving around the whole like venue, like moving through the crowd and like dancing. Yeah, I was like
think
rapping.
dynamic.
I was like
Dynamic,
I was like
bro.
getting a beat. I was like, 3, 4, and up, and 6, and I was like going in. I was just like, I don't know. I just felt like I had to bring the energy because I wasn't really like in the
Because you were not in the
classes and-
beginning
Yes.
too, so you were like,
Yeah.
but you were the one before last.
Yeah, I was
Right?
second to last.
Second to last?
And
That's
then
how you say it.
Dario was last. But I just felt like I had to bring so much energy. And I was teaching to a Kate Renata song by featuring Masego.
I
Need It.
need it in
Yeah.
me.
Uh, uh,
That's a
yeah.
jam.
So I did that. And so it was so like high energy. So I felt like I needed the energy. So I just tanked that whole thing. And apparently I was hyper than hype. And I was drenched in sweat. I was wearing sunglasses and I was wearing a hat. And I had Ron do it with me, Ron Well. And he was in a long sleeve beanie. The lights were beaming at us. I'm like, this is crazy. I needed that 5 hour energy, but I guess I was like really, really hyped. So I laugh at myself because they were just like, dude, you were on 3. You were on 3, bro. And so that was that.
Wait, am I old? What is on 3?
You know how they say, you know how they say,
so
like,
lost for a second. Wait, on 3.
you know how they say,
heard that.
I'm on one. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
on one. And then you know how Tinashe,
Oh my god.
and you know how Tinashe says, I'm
I'm
2
on.
on,
Uh-huh.
2 on. Yeah.
You were on 3.
So I say 3 on just for a bigger
Get with the
exaggeration.
program. Get with the program.
It's
That's
okay.
how I
I
feel
gotta
like- that's how I feel
keep
like-
up. I gotta keep up with the kids too. I have a younger brother. His name is Jason. He's 18, so it's perfect. I still get all the trending
See,
and
that's
all the
not
young
fair.
stuff.
That's not fair. See?
Yeah.
My,
So-
my younger brothers are both in Puerto Rico.
Oh, okay.
Not fair.
Oh
not
man.
fair.
Yeah. And then the last class was Dario, and
Man.
he brought the energy. I think his class had the most people.
Yeah.
I really can't guesstimate how much, but even his final group had like 20 people. I'm like, oh, that might be a little bit over exaggeration, but filling up that, that section of the warehouse, man, his class is very hype. And I remember Alex told me that he was like to Dario, he was like, hey, you better bring it, because Matt was super hype. So he had to like
dope.
just bring this energy, but he did. He put
dope, yeah.
he put that song, the club up, the club up. Yeah, that song, and then he was dancing, and then he
Who
brought
sings
it.
that?
He brought it with the choreo. Travis Scott. The party
I see.
never ends. Yeah. So he played that, and then we finished out the night, and the rest is history. The rest is in pictures. The rest is on
Man, the
YouTube.
rest is what's coming
The rest
next.
is history, man. And
next year.
I'm proud of it. Like, yeah, I've been in Vegas for about a decade now, and so I see it as a home. It's been part of my life for almost 10 years. Born and raised in Chicago, those are forever my roots. But
Facts.
I learned the choreo, the solid foundation that I have here. And so I wanted to give back, and that's the biggest thing with it, and that's what it'll always be, is giving back.
That's
you
dope,
know
bro.
what I mean? So
Do you think you're gonna is the next one gonna be post quarantine? You know what I mean? Or
the next big event like that, yes, that has to be, just because it attracts a bigger crowd, and I have to fly in all these teachers.
What about there's all these virtual classes, bro.
I know.
You never
I-
thought, like I was
I was
thinking of that
thinking
like
about
low
that.
key, because like you could do it, man. Like why
Yeah.
not? Try it out.
was
You know what I
thinking,
mean?
yes.
A virtual experience.
Yep.
It is all the same classes. You get the same, or not the same teachers, but high level quality
Yeah.
teachers. You know what I mean? And people sign up, and
Yep.
it's the same experience.
Like
Just
a live stream.
people
or,
are actually doing it, because it's
bro.
just now
Yeah.
it's hard to get so many people in one room. You know what I mean? And
Facts.
that's the thing that we have to do. That's
Facts,
the thing we have to do.
Yep. So I thought about it. I really did, because that's what a lot of the businesses are going to
Yeah, man.
nowadays.
Switching that
So
to the virtual.
yeah. So being in the business side of it, opposed to just thinking dance wise, I had to revert and really think about it. So I've been looking at my options, seeing how we could do it, using the social media platform.
Because you
where
do
we
have a good
yes.
following too.
Yeah,
Bro.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
something that'll help.
Yeah, and we got a couple things lined up, for this baby, and it'll definitely come up. I'm really excited for it.
Can't wait
It's
to hear
just
about it.
it's just like everybody else. Like, they can't really plan like too far ahead, because you can't really predict what's going to happen, especially with the winter coming back around, and circling around back to the COVID topic, that everybody was expecting the summertime to slow it down.
Right.
They were getting these, whether they were seeing on the news social media, they see heat is going to slow this thing down. Heat is going to kill this thing. Heat will kill it on the surfaces, on my face mask, on my hat, on my shirt. But still, at this time, the cases are still more. Now I can talk about, going into things like if the numbers are inflated more than it is so, but still the numbers are still high enough to be like,
Don't get me started with that, man.
Yeah, exactly. that goes into so much. And like, I hear about this thing 24/7 every day. Like I go to work, I hear about it because I'm obviously in the field.
Is it a thing though? Like, are the numbers being inflated in your eyes? Because I feel like, man, like a lot of weird situations. Like you got a fever, you got all this other symptoms, and you all of a sudden, surprise, you got COVID. Like, wait, what? I don't know. Out of where? I don't feel like that bad. What are you talking about?
And it sucks because on top of people being asymptomatic too, which means not showing any symptoms at all, you can still be a carrier and pass it down to somebody. And then on top of that, you think about when you get your test, because like I do things like this in the field as well, sometimes they don't go thoroughly enough. Sometimes I hear from people that they've got their test and they were just in the nair. They weren't even like all the way like kind of up, because how the anatomy works is like you go in the nair, it goes up and above into your esophagus, your trachea and all that, where it splits into your stomach and your lungs. So, some people don't get the efficient test, and now it's whatever. And then on top of that, you can get a false negative. And then at some point in the year, they were requiring 2 negatives for you to come back to work,
just to make
to come back into work, to come back, or just to be able to get off of like quarantine, which we know is 2 weeks, 14 days roughly. Incubation period is what they say with that. So on top of that, you have all of those things. And on top of that, we think when it first started happening, in New York, it was really big. That was a major hot spot. There was talks about using the same one ventilator with 2 patients. One ventilator, get a T-piece adapter.
So non-hygienic.
It's not, and I'm glad you say that. I'm glad you say that.
Like, wait, what?
Because I was looking into studies, and they were using the same circuit, and I was like, what? They're using the same circuit. I'm like, oh my God! But that's what we came to, and then it even came to a point where we would run out of the intubated breathing tube ventilators, and then we would have to switch into a less invasive ventilator and use that as the actual ventilator, which we call BiPAP. So those are for people that are like right before they get the breathing tube.
Right.
It's still just this mask, but it feels like you're sticking your head out a car window when you're driving on the freeway. So that when you stick that out, you find it hard to breathe, and it's like. You have to slow down your breathing because there's just so much air hitting your face. Right. You can't just like inhale all that. That's what a BiPAP feels like. And they said they wanted to use that ventilator now into, using that for patients that are going to have a tube, because we were running out of ventilators.
Wow.
Even the rentals, even everywhere, we had to pull it from different states, different companies.
Man. You got to do what you got to do. Though,
yeah. And so that's so scary, seeing all that. And
because then at the same time, it's like people would judge either way. I feel like people would judge either way. Like, if you don't do it, you're going to get judged because why didn't you try it? But if you do it, and if it doesn't work, then, that's your fault because it didn't work.
And here's the thing, though. I found it weird because we were waiting. Everybody became a low threshold into intubating. Okay? So they were waiting until the very last minute, until they were about to crash. And that's when we wanted to intubate them. We wanted to give them every second, every chance that they could to come back up with, maybe maxing them on their pressors or giving them the medication that they need. And everything is maxed out on that IV pole. They're getting everything they can. They're on the highest ventilator settings, 100% of FiO2, which is the oxygen. They're on we call it PEEP, which stands for positive and expiratory pressure, meaning your lungs are like this when you breathe out, right?
Right.
Get a visual. Your lungs expand when you breathe out, and then when you exhale, they collapse on itself regularly in a normal person. Now, with positive and expiratory pressure, also known as PEEP, you're expanding it on your inhale, and then the PEEP, depending on how high it is, which a high number is about 12 to
Slows it down.
15. No, it keeps it open.
Oh, okay.
So that expiratory pressure is keeping your alveoli open, which is responsible for the gas exchange for your for your blood to get oxygen to the rest of your body.
Right.
So that's where when people smoke like cigarettes or something like that, it's bad for them. It decays that, and then you have less alveoli. So now you're getting less gas exchange. Now you're having problems breathing out. So they're on the ventilator, they're maxed out on their FiO2 percentage, they're on 100%. Now they're on like a PEEP of 15. I kid you not, 15 is a high number. We do PEEP of 5 usually.
Dang.
15, it's so touchy sometimes that you can go to PEEP of 5 to PEEP of 6, and that could be a difference right there. That could be a difference to your oxygen saturation.
Wow.
And that's a big thing with COVID, is that your oxygen saturation drops. Now the normal is between, depending if you have COPD, which is a chronic obstructive pulmonary disorder. It's very common if you smoke cigarettes. You can get that over time after 20, 30 years of smoking cigarettes. Now, if you're like that, 88% of oxygen, if I'm looking at the vitals monitor, 88% of oxygen to about 88 to 92, 94, just depending on where you work at. That's okay for a COPDer. But say for myself, 99%, 100% is what you'd see in a normal healthy person. 90 to 100, I say.
Yeah.
90, maybe 92 to 100 is just a hit in the ballpark somewhere over there.
Quick question. Did
yeah.
you ever had anybody that you knew?
That I cannot say. I can't say that because of HIPAA violation.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but that's
I mean,
just,
you don't have
that's
to
the big
mention the
thing.
person. You have to say,
That's the
you
big
could
thing.
say yes or no, or can you even say that? You don't have to mention the person.
Yeah.
I'm such an instigator. I'm not trying to get you fired, though.
I always feel like I'm walking on eggshells because of like.
I understand. That's why I'm like
yeah.
asking you.
And
Don't
people,
say anything if you
yeah.
can't.
Yeah, people think it's cool to like have a lot of eyes on you, but sometimes it's a double-edged sword, and
Yeah.
it's so hard. I feel like
Agreed.
I'm always walking on eggshells, and like the first thing someone hears about me, bad or good, they just jump on it. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh, trust
with
me, I
that,
do.
with that, man, I gotta say, I seen way too many people.
I'll
seen way
take
too
that.
many people.
I'll take that.
You
I'll
know
take
me
that.
as a person.
I feel you. I feel you on that.
You know me as a person, man.
Now, going
Yeah.
back to this, though, because I want to finish it off with that.
Let's see it.
Being the person that created it, being a Vegas local, like being so involved in the choreo game,
Yeah.
having studied it for so long, what do you think makes the next group of choreographers qualified? You know what I mean? To be a part of experience. Like, what is somebody out there that wants to be like, yo, Matt, what's up with me and experience? You know what I mean?
Right,
what
right.
would they need to tell you and show you for them to get a shot? And what makes them qualified?
What I really look at when I was really picking out the teachers, at least for Vegas.
Hold on, let me get my notepad because I'm trying to get in there. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm just kidding.
Right. But what I saw when I was booking Maciel and Joaquin, like I said, I wanted to see, I wanted to know that they would teach, I would have a teacher with value that would teach, really teach you, really give you that experience and what it resonates. It doesn't have to resonate exactly the same as like my vision, but it goes into the importance, and the very first thing is giving a rich education and giving that to the students, really giving them that teaching experience and letting them leave thinking, okay, I really brought something in my pocket. I learned something, maybe not physically, maybe physically, or just maybe like to bring home mentally. Yeah. Like I said, everything that I've learned from those classes just by listening. And you were doing the same. You were doing the same. You were in the back, you were in the side, you were walking around, you were backstage, but you were listening. And that was the biggest thing.
I was also drinking boba.
Oh, what?
I'm just kidding. I'm just also drinking boba.
No, that's right. Liz Bubba. So that's what I really want to find first. You know what I mean? Somebody that is number two, they really know their body. They really know their craft. You know what I mean? And knowing how they move, how they work, and how they can teach that to another body that's maybe hasn't even learned from you. These instructors, these teachers have 10, 15 years, maybe when they just first started walking at the age of 3 or 4, and they have all that in their body. They learn from then.
But
you know, you
then-
can't just give it to somebody that learned an hour and a half and is going to
So
learn.
crucial.
Right.
So crucial.
So it's very crucial to be a good teacher, have the value and have the qualities of being a good teacher. You know what I mean? So that's the biggest thing that I look for. And then being one with your craft. And that's what it is. Like, that's what I feel, and that's what I can put into words. Be one with your craft. Like, knowing your body, knowing how to teach that into a different body. And
Yeah,
again,
I think it's very important that you touch on that, knowing how to teach that.
yeah.
Say that one more time. Knowing how to teach
Knowing how to
that.
teach
Because
that.
I don't think a lot of people know how to teach what they know how to
Right,
do.
right.
And it's very hard for a lot of people to actually express what they want to tell you with their mouth instead of their body.
Yeah.
Because us as dancers, we understand our body in different ways
Right.
that people might not. And it's, some people might agree, some people might not. Because I think singers, I can't relate how singers feel a song.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right,
Because
right.
they can get to a note higher, and it needs a feeling, and it needs
Yes.
so it's different. You know what I mean? How dancers kind of feel their music and their vibe
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Honestly.
I feel like a lot of people get that misinterpreted. So you could be a very good dancer, but to be able to teach that, it's something that you got to look for.
Yeah, teaching is another thing, and teaching is more like, if you want to be a successful teacher, and I can say this from experience now, doing it for a couple years and seeing other studios, being other places, is that it has to be more than just wanting views. It's gonna have to be more than wanting likes, followers, and the limelight. That comes with your hard work and knowing that you want more than that. You want to make a difference. You want to make a change.
Yeah.
You want to be that figure for somebody that inspires you, that maybe opens the doors for you. But you were that person, whether you know that in the moment or not. You'll look back on it 30, 40 years from now, and you look and you're like, I was that bridge.
That's dope.
You know what I mean? And so I think a lot, and I'm sure a lot of people do, especially with quarantine, and you have your own experience being quarantined, and everybody does, but it's always more. It has to be more than that. It has to be because you want something bigger than just what
Bigger
falls down
meaning.
into social media, because we get lost in that. We really get lost in, oh, can I have the video after class? And you're like, sometimes, depending, you pay for that. You know what I mean? If you have a contract with your videographer or you have a deal, whatever. But a lot of the times, these teachers are paying hundreds of dollars, and students don't know this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And we pay them hundreds of dollars to come in and shoot these videos. And then it's almost expected, where they're like,
Right.
let me get the video.
If it doesn't happen, they're like, wait, so I'm paying all this money and there's no video?
Yeah, right. Oh, can we get the video? Let me know when you're
But-
filming class so I can come to class.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, bro.
look at my expression. That's a thing?
that would be
Like,
a
I gotta
big-
let you know when I'm filming class. You know what I mean? I'm like, wow. The attention, the value diverted into wanting to be a better dancer for exposure, for likes. I catch myself like refreshing on the notification thing and seeing if I got likes, and it's like, okay, maybe it kind of fuels the fire a little bit, and maybe kind of gives you a little extra boost. Maybe if you're feeling a little self-conscious, like people go and like, oh, look at my comments, look at my likes.
It's
For
not
some people,
fully bad. It's just bad
Yeah.
to always just focus on that, what I
when
mean?
it becomes your main focus, and it kind of runs like how you feel, how you talk, your emotions. Whoa, now you're kind of like diving into something else. When go back to being wanting to be a better dancer,
That goes
wanting
back.
to
You
train.
know what I used to see a lot when people used to train, and I'll end it on that because I'm getting a little past time. But my teacher, I remember, used to actually always make us turn around from the mirror.
Yeah.
That's some training that I think
remember
has
that.
gotten lost
Yes.
in the training mode. Like, besides training military style, it was always like turn around from the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Turn around from the mirror and switch completely from the side that you're in the room. And that right there used to mess your head up like completely. That taught me to reverse any choreo, anywhere, any place that I am. I can still do it with my eyes closed if I know it well enough, because I can guarantee you that, like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like a lot of people don't really understand that the way that you train, that's what's gonna make your career what it is. You know what I mean? I think, not to brag about me or anything, because I don't want.
Not at all.
That's not. But like, that's what makes me a little different about us as being a dancer, because like, I think that's where my name comes from. It's like Vendhy. It's like you pretty much can do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, I like freestyle. I
Yeah.
love freestyle myself. I love to actually express, be able to actually feel. But then when it comes to the choreo game, that's a feeling too, and that's something that
Yeah.
it sets a standard as well. And yeah, it goes hand to hand.
Yeah,
I
man.
think.
It's,
Yeah, bro.
it's little differences, and we all kind of joined to one. Again, which makes experience, man. But I'm so glad that we were able to do this. We were able to finally get on this, man. Again, like it.
First of many, bro.
Yeah, man. First of many.
Congratulations.
It was going at me for a while, and this, this how experience came up. I dreamt about it, and I was like,
Facts.
I was like,
remember
let's
you
do
talking
it.
about
So now we're doing this too, man. And this is just, it's great. I feel like as dancers, we can't speak as much. We don't have that at the front helm as more so we have visually, because we're dancers.
So true.
So I'm glad we just got to speak. We got to be able to talk and just kind of converse, man.
Dope.
But I appreciate you for coming out, bro.
Appreciate you for having me,
man.
Sensei.
Facts. More to come, man.
Yeah, man.
Definitely more to
Appreciate
come.
that.
Yeah, man. Cool. Check it out. Dope.
We do that. We cut like that.